freak show. Freak show, turn it to a 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 freak show. Look at Snow White eating rotten apples. Dirty bass that be coming at you. Roller coasters like a supernova. Around the ring master, this my tabernacle. See you screaming, I'm like, what for? Oh, you pop? Yeah, I got popcorn. I don't wake up on the wrong lawn, so we won't stop. It's a lost cause. Take a look through the peephole. Yo, everybody's getting geek, bro. Stop the hate and let them leaks know that we turn the club into a freak show. Turn the club to a freak show. Turn the club to a freak show. Turn the club, yeah, we turn the club to a freak show. Turn the club into a freak show. Freak show, turn it to 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 a freak show. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up for another amazing banger by Lex Blazing Daddy Paul. Touchdown to Heathrow, DP and me, bro. About to hit the club and turn the shoot to a freak show. Look through the peephole, everybody geek, yo. Need to get girl with an extreme need. See 6 midgets that be fighting, juggling. Maybe it's just me, cause my mind is struggling. Babes, boyfriend is acting like a clown. You know what's going down every time that we are down. Take a look through the peephole, yo. Everybody's getting geek, bro. Stop the hate and let them leaks know that we turn the club into a freak show. Turn the club to a freak show. Turn the club to a freak show. Turn the club, yeah, we turn the club to a freak show. Turn the club into a freak show. Freak show, turn it to a freak show. Freak show, turn it to a freak show. Freak show, turn it to a freak show. Freak show.
What is going on, everyone? Train Freaks here, and today I am kicking off MRYCG, or also known as the Model Railroad YouTube Community Group's 24 hours of live streams. So this is a group that has been started by Barnabas Junction, who's also named as Jason, which is really cool. He set this thing up, so there's going to be several different channels over the next 24 hours, and this is all set by UK time, and I'm going to get to the different show, the times and things like that here in a minute. But before I delve into that, because Jason might pop in, he's got an invite, so he might pop in. We'll wait and see. I'm going to go ahead and get some highs out of the way. So let's look and see who's all in here. We got JD, Grandpa Rail says he's joining in from work. Chris from Go Via or Go Home. We got Inked Rails. Heath, Humanity Junction. John with the Schuylkill River Valley. Dragon Lover 68. I think that is a new person I have not seen in my live streams in the past. John A. Dawson. Lee, Anfield Road Layout in the Loft. Let's see, who else do we have? Holy smokes, the chat just flew by on me. Nathan DeLay is here. We got Tim with CP368 Productions. We got New Fenris Railroad. That's William, and he's actually down in the basement, which I will pull him up here in a little bit. And let's see, who else do we have? Steve Childers is here. And let's see here. Anissa Johnson is here as well. And there is Jason, Barnabas Junction. Jason, if you want to pop on, I think I sent you the link so that way you can better explain what MRYCG is all about. That would be great. And let's see, Common Road Junction is here. And let's see, who else? We got Matthew Whitmore. East Coast Rail Fanning Productions. That's a new name to my live stream, so welcome. My better half is here, Amanda Wilson. Rail Artist, Martin Siersma. And I'm still scrolling. And Randall Ellison. And I think I am caught up with the chat. If I missed your name, I apologize. So just go ahead and get that out of the way. Now, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up. These are the actual show times for the next 24 hours. And there has been a recent addition since I have put this together. But you can see that I'm kicking it off for the first 2 hours. And then there's actually several hours that are TBA, but we actually just had the 7 o'clock UK time or 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time filled in. And let me get that real quick. That is actually King's Cross Interchange Model Railway, which is Milo Tagney Knowles. So after this live stream's over with, I will actually go and add all the links into the description. So that way you can go back and check all that out. Let's see. And then, of course, at 3 o'clock our time or 8 o'clock in the morning on the UK, you got Tinsley TMD Yard Model Railway. Ware Yard at 9 a.m. Finnerton Central at 10. New Durham Junction at 11. Then, of course, Barnabas Junction. Jason's going to be doing it at noon in the UK. Rail Riders at 1 in the afternoon. Fifield Junction at 2 in the afternoon. Then we got Worley MRC at 3. Benton Road Model Railway at 4. Crossways Point Junction at 5. Charlie McGowan at 6. Mark, which is Donegal Dad, at 7. Eagle Creek Yard, 8. Valley Brook Model Railway 2, which is Stewart, which will be going on at 9. St. Peter's Layout at, I just lost my train of thought, 10 o'clock at night. And then to do the final hour is going to be the MRYCG group, which I think is Jason, Stewart, and I don't know if there's anybody else part of that. All right, we've had a couple more people, or at least one person popped in since we started, and I said the highs, and that's Dwight Curley. So welcome, Dwight. I'm going to make sure I did not miss anybody else real quick, and it does not look like it. So let me go ahead and change my screen. And today I'm going to be working on the high stakes ranch. Now, I've done a little bit of work over the past, not too awful much, and it looks like William over in the basement has went dark on me, so I'll have to wait for him to come back to pull him up. But what I plan on working on, and I might have to move the camera a few times so that way you can see the different angles I'm working on, is mainly the scenery. So first thing, let's get these two pieces of rolling stock out of the way. So now you can see the stock pins, and I'm going to just grab my camera. I'm going to try not to make y'all sick. But you can see where I went ahead and started adding a coat of paint on the inside of the pins to match the base coat of the layout. The reason why I haven't added the second coat yet is because I'm going to use that wet paint to mix in the, the grass, the dirt, the scenery material, foliage, whatever you want to call it. So now the other thing I've done is you can see that I've added some masonite here, and this is actually glued in. And I've added some more this way, and of course you're going to start seeing some of my supplies and stuff, including my phone. What I'm actually going to end up doing is there's going to be a little depot sitting right here. So this is going to be kind of just a very small, not a freight depot, but a small passenger station. So that way I can run some type of passenger trains on my layout and have multiple, stops, one per each level. But the reasoning for the Masonite here is it actually helps, and I'm going to see if I can get the camera angle better. It's going to be kind of hard to tell, but without getting the camera real close and maybe sideways, it actually allows me to bring these closer to the track, and it also brings it up so that way the platforms are not sitting too low. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clamp that back. And there we go. All right, so let's see. We got a few more people that look like popped in. So I have no clue how much I'm going to get done tonight. George, Whitewall Wheels 1 Hardcore MOH is here. And then we got New Durham Junction Model Railway. Let's see. Who else? I thought I saw someone else pop in. Charlie McGowan is here. Welcome. And he says, hi, you are coming through loud and clear here in Toronto. Do I need to turn my microphone volume down? If so, please let me know. Let's see. That looks like everybody. So why don't I bring in the person who founded MRYCG and let him share with y'all a little bit about it. Hey, Jason.
Good evening, everybody, or morning, or however it might be, wherever you might be in the world. So the big. First of all, I'll say a huge thank you to Jason, from one Jason to another, for firing off the show for us today. It's all for just a little bit of fun and a bit of entertainment. And yeah, it's the Around the World 24-hour live stream. So huge thank you to Jason. He's taken on board 2 hours of the start of the event, so thank you very much for that. And
I appreciate you letting me do it.
It's been a bit quite busy actually today, finalizing everything. There's not really much to finalize, I would say so, but it's a lot of last minute people saying, I want to do an hour, and it's trying to find somewhere to squeeze them in.
Right. Well, and just, I mean, you got most of it done. There's just that one little block when I think most of y'all are sleeping, and then we're fixing to start going to bed. So,
and we had literally 5 minutes before you come on we had a slot filled straight after you finish, to be honest. And it's someone from here in the UK, actually. Okay. So that's another one that's not on your schedule that you've already showed. And it's...
Well, I did mention the one for 2 o'clock.
Yes, that's the one I was on about. Yeah,
okay.
That's the one that's just added literally 5 minutes before you came on air. So a huge thank you to Milo over here in the UK. He wanted to do 1 a.m. I said, sorry, already taken. Okay, I'll do 2 then. Fine by me. Off you go. So yeah, it was an idea that I came up with just randomly, just to get the community together for a little bit of fun. Obviously during the current situation that everyone's in, and just have a bit of a laugh, because there's a lot more live streamers these days than there was this time last year. And I thought, what a way of getting people around the world together and to do 24 hours of live streaming back to back. And we almost got it. That's a great idea. We almost got it. It's almost there.
Well, I think we need to get some of our Australian friends involved. Yes. Because, that whole block that we're empty, it's daytime for them.
I was a bit gutted that it's not fully filled up. I've been trying just to get it filled up, but we're almost there.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find.
That MRYCG is doing the 24-hour live streams.
Pardon, sorry?
Is this the first attempt of doing
the
24?
The idea initially I put forward in January, but I didn't really give many people time. I was going to go for the end of January, and it kind of only had like 10 days notice for people. And I thought in the end, I'll postpone it. So I postponed it to the beginning of March, and still people weren't really getting involved in it. And then, so I postponed it to the end last week in March, and then found out it was the Sunday where the UK clocks changed. They went forward an hour, and I thought, hang on a minute, that's not going to work because we lose an hour. So postponed it forward a week from then, which is obviously for right now, as we are now in the Sunday. And yeah, here we are. And I didn't even realize it was Easter weekend either. I completely missed that one. So sorry for all you that are live streaming over the Easter week Sunday. So, but thank you very much for taking part. It's really good. Going to be fun.
Well, I think this is something neat and something fun, and I do recommend those who are not part of the MRYCG community get involved. It doesn't matter, if you're in the UK, the US, Canada, or any of the American countries, or if you're over in Asia, Australia, Africa, you name it.
It's worldwide.
You could be on any one of the 7 continents and be involved.
Yeah, and it's not just obviously it's MRYCG, which stands for the model. Or over here in the UK, it's the railway, but over the States and that it's railroad, because that's what you like it to be. And we're all the same. We all do the same thing. So it's the model railway / railroad YouTube community group. But we are across obviously YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and many other places as well. And we also have a website, mrycg.com. And that is very, very busy. There's a lot of YouTube links on there for people to go and find channels instead of basically having to search YouTube for lots of links. Ron,
awesome.
Good morning.
Awesome. So good morning, Ron. I think he's the latest person that popped in, and I know he's over from Australia.
Ooh.
So, well, I've got someone else down here in the basement that I know is going to be doing some modeling with me. And then somebody else replied to my email earlier saying that he might come on, probably not right at the beginning as we're starting, but later on. So I'm going to go ahead and bring William up. What's going on, man?
Not much, as I just broke my camera.
Oh, dear.
Hey, good times, good times. This is already starting to turn out like Sidetrack Sunday.
Yeah, I snapped the holder for it when I went to turn it around.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man.
It's all right. It happens.
So where
it's par for the course. Oh, I had some trees that I was playing with last week on
oh, they're nice.
Lee's stream. And it's just it's really Woodland nice. Scenics tree armatures, and then the fine leaf foliage. It's just super glued on, easy peasy.
I want to see you make one that shape, but instead of leaves, pine needles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting idea.
That is the type of pine trees we have down here. They're called loblollies.
Yeah. When I saw the pictures, I was like, okay, now I know what you're talking about. I don't have static grass. If I had static grass, it would work perfect. But the closest thing to static grass I have is ground. Oh, what is it? I got blended turf, but I don't think that would look right. Yeah, the blended turf wouldn't look right on it.
Probably not. You're probably going to want like a dark green of some type.
Yeah, you'd almost need a dark green, probably 1 millimeter static grass.
But yeah, nobody makes them. Like no manufacturer makes a loblolly pine tree.
Yeah, when you said it, I started thinking about it too. I was like, that's what we've got out here, and I always referred to them as southern pines.
Yes, that is their trade name.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, southern pine, or they sometimes call it like a southern yellow pine.
Yeah.
Because when you cut it open, it's like bright yellow, the inside of the trunk and limbs.
Yeah.
But no manufacturer makes them. And so, and I haven't seen anybody, including Luke Towan, I haven't seen him make anything similar to it. So
you got me thinking.
Yeah, because the armatures are nothing more than the tenacious armatures would work perfect for it.
That's basically it if it had no needles.
Yeah.
And then you could probably sprinkle in some brown flock to simulate the pine cones.
Yeah.
Actually, right now they're full.
for a pine tree, it'd have to be quite a thick armature then, though, would it? With a lot of stems on it sticking out than a standard tree. It's obviously a pine or conifer, as they're known over here in the UK.
Yeah,
they're very thick trees.
yeah, it'd be layering it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take quite a bit. So I'm gonna pull my cell phone up because I've actually got the image on here. But
right, yeah,
that is a loblolly.
Right.
And I mean, massive. And then here's here's 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can tell the difference because, right now all the oak trees that are in the area, they're starting to sprout.
Yeah.
So the only trees that are green are your pines, and all we have here is loblollies. So, Grandpa Rails, I did check Bob with Long Shadow Trees, and I'm sure I could probably email him and see if he could make some, but he doesn't have any for sale right now.
Do you guys over in the States and Canada, etc., do you use seafoam much over there for trees? It's very popular over here.
What type of tree?
Seafoam. Use seafoam to produce trees.
Yeah, they use seafoam, and then also we use a lot of lichen also.
Yeah.
And moss. That's almost what the fine leaf foliage is it's almost like that, almost like a sea foam.
Yeah.
A lot of my stuff that I do for my railroad now is stuff that I've done in years past doing tabletop gaming. And actually, a guy from your neck of the woods, Jason, he's over in Stoke, UK. A guy by the name of the terrain tutor, Mel Bowes.
Right, it's only up the road. That is from me. 20 minutes up the road. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel out that's just incredible for terrain.
Right. Well, I need to have a look at that.
Yeah, and I know him, and I know Kathy Millett does a lot of train stuff too, and terrain dioramas. But yeah, those are the 2 main ones that I've caught lately, besides the train guys here stateside that I always hang out with. But
excellent.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was that channel again then called? Sorry.
Oh, Mel's the terrain tutor.
The terrain tutor.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, he's good.
I'll definitely have a look right now. Let's see if I can find something.
So, Jason, you had a question, and from Martin.
My channel, it is Barnabas Junction, spelt BARNABAS, and I think it has been put in the chat just frequently. Yeah, there is. Skullkill has put the link in. Thank you very much, Skullkill.
Yeah, John is awesome when it comes to moderating and filling the chat with the links that we need. So thank you, John. I don't thank you enough. I do in person, but not in the chat. So thank you so much. Hey, Shane's Trains just popped in. So he is here as well. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and start getting messy.
Well, I'll let you get on, and I'll get off so you can enjoy the show, guys. I will continue watching. Thank you very much again, Jason, for taking the step to start off the show, or shall we say, get the wheels rolling on the railroad, we'll say. So thank you very much. Jason has got the links for all the channels that are taking part in this 24 hours. Here in the UK, the first UK stream is straight after Jason at 2 a.m. And then there's a short break until 8 a.m. UK time, which I think is 5 hours behind you, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, I think so.
So
Yeah,
that'll be early. Well, the 8 a.m. will be 3 a.m. your time. So yeah, I'm sure obviously a lot of you guys will be asleep there. But yeah, it's going all the way through till midnight the UK time, and I hope you can all pop along and join in with it one way or another, even if it's only for 5 minutes or so, and show your support to the channels. So thank you very much, Jay.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So until next time, take care all. And also all channels that are taking part in this will be included in a playlist on the MRYCG YouTube channel once it's been completed.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank
Well, thank you, Jason, for popping on and telling us what MRYCG is all about.
It is. It's for the community, by the community, and lots of fun and entertainment for all. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank y'all. Take care, bud.
Bye now.
Bye. All right. So, so the first thing I plan on doing is I need to get plaster, so that way I don't have these rough edges. And so I'm just going to kind of move the camera up so that way you can see where I'm talking about. And I'm going to gently slide that out of the way without breaking it. But I basically got, these rough edges here. So I'm just going to take some Paris of plaster, mix it up, and I'm also going to fill in along here to get it, the height flush. But this is glued in with wood glue. And then after I do that and the plaster kind of dries a little bit, because it has been a pretty dry day, no humidity, thank God. I know it's coming. I am going to paint it, which I've got all of that with me. So if the camera angles are not good, I will try my best to accommodate in one way or another. Looks like Digger Evans popped in. We got Frank, Steeler fan. And let's see, who else do we have? Tom's Trains and Things is here. Is this step 1 or step 2? This is like step 100. And I doubt I make it to step 200. Because this has been nothing but a lot of steps in itself. Let's see, has anybody else popped in? Bang Got You Junction Carl Brond is here. The Midland and Dorchester Railroad. And then, of course, Golden Leaf Railroad popped in saying hi to everyone. And I mentioned Ron Brights earlier. And I think that's everybody. So if I missed you, I apologize. I'm going to do my best to try to keep my eye on the chat. I've got the screen here in front of me, but, sometimes my face is going to be focusing down, so I'm not really seeing the chat. John Goforth is here. Welcome, buddy. And we've got Panama Roy. N-Scale Union Pacific Evanston Subdivision is here, and he made an awesome video this morning. I'm being a little biased because I helped with it. But he got a brand new Union Pacific, I think his is a C3, but C4, C3, they're the same model roughly, just a few differences for his layout. So, and I'm curious to see how he plans on weathering it. So that's going to be interesting to watch in the future on his channel. And let's see, Bernard C is here. So I see him. I must have missed him earlier because he says I'm here or not. So welcome, Bernard. Glad you're here as well. All right, so I'm going to start getting messy. So for those who have not had the pleasure to mess with plaster of Paris, it can be pretty messy, and sometimes it's one of those things that you definitely don't want to use on a hot and humid day. William, have you ever messed with... Oh, he went dark on me.
No, I'm here. I'm just messing with the camera. I didn't want to get everyone seasick.
Do you mess with the Paris of plaster much? Or plaster of Paris, I mean?
I more use gypsum powder.
Okay.
I just use regular plaster when I do a lot of things. Mainly because I'm used to it from being in construction and all.
Gotcha. So what I do is I actually went and bought this tote. I'm going to show y'all this tote here. Pretty big tote. And when I buy the bag, I'll just pour the whole bag in there. And then I use an ice cream scoop just to scoop out what I need, at a time. And then, of course, the other thing you need is water. And no, this is not Propel. I've already drank it out of there, washed it out. This is actual tap water. So, and that's just to get your mix. But this is what I use for all of my scenery. I don't use plaster cloth or any of that because sometimes if you don't do enough layers, it just leaves extra holes, I've noticed. So I prefer this. I mean, I guess you could say this is almost like Sculptamold as well. But I know if you use like a good heavy amount, it does take a while to cure, especially on the hot, humid days. So I just pour a little bit in my bowl. And I'm going to move this tote out of the way without trying to make a mess.
Now, is that just you're using it's plaster of Paris? It's plaster of Paris, but it's the DAP plaster of Paris in that.
Yeah, it's DAP.
Okay. Yeah, you probably get cheaper going to like Home Depot or Lowe's and getting the regular joint compound.
Joint compound?
Yeah.
I've tried it. And so the other reason I use the plaster of Paris is I use aluminum window screen for my textures. So, for example, I'm going to slide this over. You can see how that's a little hilly. So under there, that's aluminum wire screen, and I'll use a wet pour of the plaster of Paris on there, and it kind of digs down into it. But one of the things that I use on the aluminum window screen is I'll soak it with vinegar and salt water and let it baste out in the sun for a day. So that way it'll kind of age and rust up a little bit, and it gives that plaster something harder to hold on to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I mean, it literally sets up like concrete when it's all said and done. And so I'm just basically just trying to get this stuff good and mixed. Right now, before part of it sets and then part of it doesn't. And that's one of the things, like you can only go and add just a little bit of water to loosen it up. But if it's runny, you can always add more powder to thicken it up. All right. So basically all I'm doing is going along the edge. And I like to use a spoon because I can go and smooth it out with a good contour. And I got some on the backdrop, which is easy to do. Is someone in here cracking jokes already?
No, I thought I had my mic off. I was laughing at what you said about hitting the backdrop. I was par for the course.
Yep. Yeah, it's part of it. It is totally part of it. All right. And I'm literally just slowly working my way around, the masonite. Just trying to, make it, kind of a smooth contour instead of like a 90-degree drop, which is not, I don't know, realistic. I guess that would be the word. So just kind of slowly working my way around. And it's okay, like if you get further off, I'm going to slide this camera over so y'all can see where I'm at. I should have known better. Oh, of course, you get part of the hill in the way too. There we go. All right. So But if you have like a little extra and it's like, chunky in some areas, I mean, where in the world is the ground perfect, Hey, Joe Rader popped in. So welcome, Joe. Have to get some more. All the good stuff is when you get messy with it. That's when you're having lots of fun.
Well, say, yeah, that's, you're doing it right when you come away messy from doing terrain,
Right.
be it modeling or be it tabletop.
It's all the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And that's what I was trying to get people to understand. A lot of times it's like, stuff I do may not be prototypical for trains, but if you look at it from the terrain aspect, it works perfect. I just got to scale it down to the right scale for it. But really, when it comes to terrain, there's no scale.
Right.
It all works out.
Well, that's like, if you go and buy a lot of the trees from the manufacturers, those trees are nowhere near to scale.
Oh, no.
Like, I see you got some small ones and some tall ones on your screen right there.
Oh, yeah. I've got these in the front are the 3/4 inch to 2 inch. And then I've got 3 to 5 inch that are the taller ones in the back. And really, these are the bigger ones are more O scale. They're going for the stuff when I actually do the shed and the layout. Those are going on the tabletop gaming side of it because they're perfect for 25 millimeter and being 25, 30 foot trees. The small ones I was actually going to turn into N scale fruit trees. I was going to do peach trees because I've got a peach orchard right down the street from me. That's why, if you notice, I didn't really do them straight. I've got them kind of scraggly and more laid down flat, like they do peach trees, so they can actually get to them, get to the peaches, and that they'll cut the tops off and make them grow out instead of up.
Okay.
So they can drive by in a pickup truck and just pull the peaches off the tree. Same thing with orange trees. If you look at some of the orange trees in Florida, they're short. They're short, stubby trees that you can get to with a truck or even a boom lift, and not have to lift it up high. There it is.
All right, looks like we got Dwayne from Dwayne's Fork and Spoon is here.
Oh, sweet. Dwayne showed up. Looks like we got Govia or Go Home.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones in here earlier today.
Okay, I didn't see him in here.
So Panama Roy says, I have a friend from Kansas. He says it looks flat at a glance, but when you look closer, it's actually rolling. That is Southeast Arkansas in a nutshell, and that's where I grew up. I'm a little more central Arkansas now, where we've got the fields not too far away, but I'm kind of in the foothills, like where the terrain starts getting a little more, I'm going to say mountainous, even though the Ozark Mountains are really not mountains, but, more like plateaus, but still. Yeah, this stuff's already setting up. I mean, it's setting up quick. All right, so to give you kind of an example of what I've done, let's pull the camera off and not try to make you sick. But you can see like the end of the roadbed is no longer a straight 90-degree cut. And I'm just basically smoothing off around this piece of masonite. You know, just kind of giving it like a lip to it. And I might go back and add more to it as that hardens and dries, you know, to my liking. And today I'm only concerned, or I guess more motivated, to get just the back section behind this track done. I'm not really looking at trying to get up here. You know, work my way from the back to the front. That's kind of the way I'm wanting to go at it. And this stuff's already setting up. It's getting harder to push in there, like the moisture in it's already leaving out. So but you know, I'm trying to get a good flat transition, you know, between this siding and this piece of masonite back here. And I don't know if this helps, but let's see what happens if I go and give y'all kind of an aerial view. Let's see here. I'll try not to make you too sick, so I apologize. But does that kind of, there we go, get the light out of the way. Does that kind of show more or less what I'm talking about?
Actually, it does.
Yeah. That's a good comment. Everybody check out everybody's channel. Yes, highly recommend everybody in here. If you got video content, definitely it's worth checking out. No matter your skill or your experience, definitely worth checking everybody out, because there is a lot of good modelers here. So William, I think you got a question here.
Yes, I saw that. I was just about to answer it. Actually, to be honest with you, Barnabas, I usually use, I'm using Gorilla Glue for the brush right now, but I went and mixed it with the gel from Gorilla Glue, but I use that some too. And then what I ended up using before on most of the trees when I was on Anfield in the Lofts layout was I was using Zappa Gap, and it's just a medium super glue. I thought I'd try this out just to see if using a brush would be a lot easier to put in the glue down. It actually comes out about the same, but then again, CA is CA no matter what it is. So
Right.
But it was just something new to try. And I know I'm doing this wrong because you're supposed to use hobby tack, but
yeah,
this stuff's not getting touched again, so I can
everyone, MRYCG posted, "Thank you for launching the 24-hour around the world live stream. If you are not a member, I highly recommend it. It is designed by community members for the community, and it doesn't matter where you live. You can become a member at no charge. So definitely get involved. And they do have a YouTube channel, by the way, and I think they do like a weekly podcast, or I know they used to. So some good ones too." Looky there. Yep. Heath, you're so right. Yeah, it's I mean, this plaster, I mean, it's already setting up quick. I mean, look, I don't know if y'all can see that much in my bowl. It's already hardened up, like I can't even work with it. So I'm gonna have to wait till it fully dries so I can crack it out. Oh, my mother-in-law showed up. Amanda's mom is here. How about that? Donna Gamble, welcome. This is the first time you're in here. So, all right. So sometimes the fun thing about model railroading is learning that one virtue that is hard to master, and that's called patience.
Yeah.
So, Dwayne is saying add water. I have made that mistake in the past. Once it sets up, you can't add water.
If it was regular gypsum powder, Dwayne, he could. But with it being plaster of Paris, it's a little bit different consistency, and it won't rehydrate.
No, it does not. Once it starts setting, it sets.
It's almost like sculpt mold. Once it sets, and you can smooth it out, but that's about it. All right, that one is done.
Well, and like when I'm doing like my hills and stuff, if I don't want like jagged rock, I'll kind of, run my hand over. And a lot of times that gets the moisture out.
Yeah.
We the people, thank you. Thank you so much. And it actually looks a whole lot better once you get, well, I'm not going to move the cattle pens over here, but let's see here. When you got some stock cars in the way with the cattle pens behind it, it actually makes it look a whole lot better. And I've got one car that I'm going to have to do something with the trucks on it. So, but I will come back and I will ballast every bit of this, where the tracks are. So I'm not looking for, the perfect, but nature's not perfect. Never has been and never will be.
Nope. That's why when I started using the fine leaf foliage, I wasn't 100% sure how it was gonna look, because I've never used it before. This is the first time using this product, and I was like, oh, it's coming out nice.
So for those who do not know, the backdrop, it's trainjunkies.com sells beautiful backdrops. This being one of them. This is called Southern Pine Forest. Actually, Southern Pine Forest 2, because the difference between Pine Forest 1 and Pine Forest 2 is clouds versus just a straight blue sky. And I wanted some clouds in my mix. So, and then I've got some of Nick from PGA Train Fanatic, some of his building flats, which just adds on to it. So backdrop comes from trainjunkies.com. If you choose to get anything, he's got it in N, HO, and O scale. For you in the UK, I'm sure he can convert it to OO or your version of N or Engage. I think you'll call it Engage. So definitely check them out. Let them know the Train Freak sent you. And this is one of the other products I'm really looking at getting into. And I've cut this one out, but he's got realistic roads. And these are peel stick. So it's on vinyl. Take the backing off and just stick it right on down wherever you plan on putting it. And he says it works great.
Jason, I hate to say it, but that's cheating.
I know, but I want realistic. Now, I will say this. He doesn't have any gravel roads. So the gravel roads I'm going to have to end up doing myself, which is no problem. Because you can use ballast on that.
Yeah, I was going to say fine ballast and in a reddish tan almost would work perfect for our area of the country. The roads in North Carolina are not much different from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Still that wonderful clay.
Well, okay, so where I live at, we actually have red clay, just like Anthony from Georgia Sunbelt showed on one of his videos recently. I think it was his last layout update. Where I live, we have red clay. The way the geology is set in the state, it's very interesting. If you look at the state of Arkansas and look at the highway map, you can follow I-30, which goes from Texarkana, which is that very southwest corner of the state, to Little Rock, which is right in the dead middle. And then there's a highway that goes out of Little Rock up northeast, which is Highway 67, 167. That highway and that interstate is literally the dividing line between, the more sandy type soil where the Delta is, where they do a lot of the farming crops and whatnot, soybean, corn, rice. And then the northwest of that, it's all limestone and, more rugged terrain. It's really, really crazy and diverse how, the landscape here, is here in our state. And Roy, I try to keep up with the chat as much as possible. It's easier said than done, I will tell you that. Andy Ambrose popped in. I don't remember if I said hi to you or not. So welcome, Andy. I know, right? Heath, rugged and Arkansas. That is exactly right. Unfortunately, I'm not from that part. I will tell you, there are some areas in the state that would remind you of the movie Deliverance. And that is no lie.
That is not that far from where I am. Yeah, that's right down the road, probably about 3.5, 4 hours from where I am in North Carolina, at the North Carolina-South Carolina border. It's just on the other side of Atlanta that they filmed most of the river scenes. And if anyone remembers was it 96 U.S. Olympics, Summer Olympics that were done in Atlanta? The river that they did the kayaking on is the same river they filmed Deliverance in.
That would not surprise me.
The comedian Jeff Foxworthy made a giant joke about it. Because he said, if Ned Beatty couldn't make it, how in the world is a Frenchman in bicycle tights supposed to have a prayer in the world to get down the river?
Right.
And I was like, oh.
All right. I need to go find a box because I did not realize that this stuff was going to set up as fast as it is. And Heath is probably right for the simple fact that I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat too. So. All right, here's a box. All right. Roy, that is very hard to do. I was trying to do that earlier. I was trying to make a video, an operations collaboration video earlier. And I kind of had to give up on it after a while because I was already starting to crunch into time trying to get prepared, for this stream. Whoops. Oh, Rail Artist is writing a book. Man, fill us in on the chat. What kind of book you writing? And I still have to wait for this stuff to fully harden, but I've got most of it out. So, William, what exactly the brand of trees are you using? Or did he step away? He might have stepped away. All right, so I'm going to look at chat, see what's going on there. See, Tom Smart. Some of us is still yet to figure that out because it seems like they all derail when we're on video. All right, so let's see. See this stuff out here, it's already hardened up. That's crazy. Now, one of the things I do use, and this is a Freaks special, if you got a brand new paintbrush that you never use, it is great at removing debris, providing if you never used it. So anytime you try to work on a surface paint or whatnot, and you don't feel like shop backing for the time being, I mean, I'm definitely not going to get my shop vac out while I've got y'all on camera, or I'm on camera and y'all are watching, because that's just going to be loud and ridiculous. You can use a paintbrush, as long as you don't, cut it short, to get rid of whatever debris you have, dust, you name it. And it's also great at removing dust from things such as your cabooses and locomotives where you have handrails, because it will get in where your handrails and stuff are too. I didn't think about that. Definitely a good idea. Cling wrap my bowl first the next time. I probably should have done that. But then I would have to have some extra cling wraps, so that way once I discard one, go ahead and wrap it again. So, yeah, I probably should have thought of that. Oh well. Can't live off of shoulda, couldas, and wouldas. All right. So there we go on that. And it's getting there. It's about fully dried. Just enough to where I can crack it and dispose of it. I'm gonna try to get my hands on some of these bowls that my dentist uses when they do like the molds and stuff for people who have to get dentures. They got these bowls that are amazing. I definitely want to try to get my hands on some of those. I had a plastic bowl that was working pretty well, and then it finally just gave way. So sometimes that happens. And I'm sure the bowls that my dentist uses, I might be able to find those off of Amazon. I'll have to see if I can try to find them. And then I'll let y'all know where I got them from. So Anissa said that she uses a stiff brush to paint, or a stiff paintbrush to dust off her layout. So, and inked rails is exactly right. And that's why I'm not fully disposing these. I'm actually boxing them up in here, because I can go back and bang them with a hammer and use it to make my own ballast, really. So Shane, I would agree with you. The Woodland Scenic bowls, peel the bowls off. That is the same thing that my dentist uses, but I know if I bought it from Woodland Scenics, it would be like twice the price. I mean, their stuff is good, but Joe Rader says he uses butter containers. I've used that in the past. So
I've used that. I've used disposable, little plastic disposable cups.
Yeah. I'm using paper bowls this go around, and it's working fine.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what bowl you're using. You just have to let the stuff at the bottom harden up, so that way you can break it off. Otherwise, it makes it a pain to mix. So this go around, I think I'm only going to do 1 scoop instead of 2 scoops, and see what happens. See if I can't make it last a little longer.
Here's the other thing. Most of the plaster work I did, I was using 5-minute set gypsum powder.
Yeah.
That was a whole lot of fun, because it set up quicker most times than I actually expected it to.
Yeah, just like that right there.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I got a vinyl backdrop.
Did you splash all over it?
Yeah.
Did you have a Heath moment?
I did. Heath, dadgummit. You need to stop that junk, man. That's not cool.
I've almost had
he's in
another.
Here, I can definitely blame him for that.
Yes, he is. I was going to say, I know he's in here because I've seen him a couple times, and I was actually going to blame him. If I glue my fingers to my models again, I'm fully and completely blaming Heath. I did it during the live stream. I actually left skin on one of my models during
Heath
that.
is definitely the
The
one to work for anything and everything.
yeah, the one where it was let's see your videos of Blame Heath. I was in a live stream with that and was actually working on one of my tabletop miniature buildings. Was using super glue. Looked up to read the chat and set my finger right in the middle of the super glue.
Oh.
Oh, and the other thing is I don't use activators, so that's even better. But it made it worse because I couldn't. I peeled my fingerprint off on the model. I had to throw out the whole piece because I had ruined it.
Heath, I swear, man, you've always got to mess things up.
I think he's only left Gremlins at what is it now? Five different live streams.
Sparky's being one.
Yeah, Sparky. I think he sent him over to Vinny's.
Yeah, he definitely sent him to Vinny's.
I think Tom's caught it from him once or twice.
Yeah, you remember that? So that one time, Tom hosted Heath, and then I think he was supposed to host John from Schuylkill the next week, and totally messed up Tom's stuff. That was definitely a Heath fault right there.
And yes, Heath, DNA samples are good to be left on most models. Yes, he was saying all his models have DNA samples.
He's definitely bringing the gremlins out here today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tom said, yeah, Heath destroyed his stream.
So there you go. Yeah, see, confirmed.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Yep. Although anyone that saw Tom's latest video, Tom, I almost emailed you saying I will take all your stuff.
You talking about the April Fool's one?
Yes, his April Fool's video. He cut it off right as he said April Fool's, and I caught it at the last second. I was just about to pull his email up and say, if you're getting out of the hobby, I will come down to Florida and pack all your stuff up and bring it home and pay you whatever you want for it.
Tom's got a lot of stuff. I know Tom does.
Yes, he does.
So my friend sent me one, and I shared it with the STS guys, and they didn't really comment on it. But before I mention it, Train Fan 120, welcome. I think this might be the first time I've seen you in my live streams. I can't remember. But so my buddy Craig, he owns the hobby shop that I work with, and he used to be a federal Department of Transportation investigator, inspector, you name it. And he worked with a lot of the railroads. So his knowledge with the railroads is insane. And then no matter where. And so he sends me this thing, and knowing him, I kind of figured it wasn't April Fool's. It talked about the recent merger with KCS and Canadian Pacific. And he showed a picture where BNSF and Union Pacific was talking about a merger. And the locomotive had the paint colors of the UP, the yellow and the gray, but instead of the flag being on the side of it, it was the BNSF swoosh. And instead of the UP shield with the wings on the nose, it was the BNSF swoosh. I was like, man, you did a good job making that one up.
Wow, yeah.
And I mean, he gave like a huge huge backstory on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing. One of the fallen flags that I want to find some of, and I've got some stock cars from it, is the Chicago Northwestern.
Okay.
Because I grew up on the Geneva subdivision of Union Pacific.
And you're wanting stock cars? Or any specific type of car?
Well, any specific type of cars. I've found a couple reefers, but everything I've found has been HO.
Okay.
It's really hard to find N scale in any of it. But I'm looking for well, if I was going to go prototypical, I would have to go end of steam, early diesel, because I've got
transition.
Yeah, because I've got the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy steam locomotive from Broadway Limited.
Okay.
But really, none of my stuff is prototypical. I've got a little bit of everything across the years.
Well, I don't know if you know, but my son, I don't know if you got to watch Roy's video this morning about the caboose.
No, I have not.
That. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give a little backstory on it. When Roy did Sparky's caboose challenge, he mentioned that he didn't have a caboose. And so I ended up finding one for Roy because I know Roy's been looking, but I didn't find it by itself. Actually, technically I did, but it did not look anything the same. Like it had like a UP slogan on the side or something. It did not look like the one in Evanston. And I did find one, but the problem is it was in a bulk lot. So it was a caboose. It was broken. So I had to glue it back together, which was fun in itself. And it came with 9 cars, which one of the tank cars I thought was really cool. It was a Cotton Belt, and that's the railroad that I follow. So I went ahead and bid it on it. And, my buddy, he does N-scale. He wanted the tank cars. So he was going to buy those back. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll make some money out of this. Make most of my money back, if not all of it. And then when Aaron Jr. saw it, he was like, Dad, I'd like to have my own layout, but this is the size I want. So it'll roll up under my bed. And I was like, okay. So that's how he got in it. So it's actually Roy Smith who started getting my son involved through me finding the caboose to send to him. So now I'm modeling HO and helping him with N-scale as he's learning it. So,
yeah, I started. I think my first train I ever had, I was probably about 12 years old, and it was one of the Tyco Santa Fe red war bonnets.
Yes.
But when I got older and got back into trains, I was doing N-scale because most of what I had was Kato. And so I stayed with N-scale, but I think when I do, because I'm doing a shed, I can actually get away with doing HO and N.
Okay.
And I think I'm actually going to mix it up a little bit with a little bit of the both. But I'm staying to certain locomotives and certain cars because what I'm going to do is match the trains together. And the layout's a rail fanning layout. So You'll see the HO come in the front side along the inside, and then it'll go along the backdrop against the wall will be the N scale of the same locomotive.
So that way you're giving it forced
You're
perspective.
giving a forced perspective, yeah.
So the layout at the hobby shop, he's got a big O-scale layout that's off to itself, but he's got this one layout that it looks like, and it's got a double track below, then it's got another track up above, and it's kind of like, a mountainous, so it's like up on a cliff above it, and then another track above it. He's got HO on the bottom, and he's demonstrating both code 100 and code 83, but he's also got one track set for DCC, one set for DC to show the differences. But the track up in the middle is N scale, and then the track up at the top is Z scale. And so he's got that mountain set up so that way you can't see the other side. So you can walk around it, but you can only see the train from one side. And I thought that was pretty cool how he set that up as a display, in his store. Because he uses it for testing too, or I use it a lot of times for testing.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got this all smooth out. And of course, it'll look better once I get, a light layer of ballast on it. So, and then of course, now all I got to do is just come back and repaint. And once I let this dry a little bit, and I can tell it's a little wet here. See if I can get the camera a little closer, and you can kind of see how it's dark right in this area, and that's just the moisture that's gone up into the masonite. So I'll have to wait on it. I don't want to go too far here because I plan on adding another piece here because I'm putting in a road crossing. So, which I've got this piece. This is the only piece that I do not have glued in. So I'm going to move my paints out of the way and show you what I've done. Let me grab it. But I've sanded that sucker down. So that way it is flush to the rail. And I apologize if I'm making you sick. I'm sorry. But there you go. So that's where the beginning of the railroad crossing is going to be. Now, if you're wondering how I figured out to cut that exactly to the rail, I took a piece of paper and a pencil and just kind of traced the outline. And then used an X-Acto knife, cut my tracing out, and then applied that paper to the masonite, and then trace around the edge of the paper. All right.
It's actually, I've seen it done. Who all have I seen? I think Jimmy from DY and Digital's done some stuff that way. I think Steve Brown, It's My Railroad, that's how he did a bunch of his, where he was going to be laying track and getting terrain set.
Yeah. All right, so now I might have to go find me a paper towel and damp it so I can get all this powdery stuff off my backdrop. So, yeah, that spray did a good job, Heath. You did a good number on me. I don't know if newspaper would work as well, so I'm going to step away and go get me a couple of sheets of paper towel, and I will be right back. So you get to hold down the fort and watch the chat. And speaking of, Shay's N scale popped in and said hi. New Junction looks like he just popped in as well.
Yep.
Not a chance, Roy. Not a chance. I'm not going to let him easily take over. So when he gets old enough, what I'll do is I'll let him get his own channel, and then I will export all of his layout updates, upload it on his. So, Heath, you know the answer to that one, and that's you. You're doing it. So, all right, I'm going to go grab a paper towel. I'll be right back. All right. So let's hope this works.
If not, we'll blame Heath.
Yeah. It's a good thing I got the vinyl and not the matte finish. But of course, with me being out in the garage, with the humidity, I have to have the vinyl. Ta-da!
Yes, that's the other thing I was looking at, Jason, with going in this, doing this shed. I'm enclosing it with a regular storm door, but I plan a regular exterior door, and it's I'm gonna end up getting one of the portable AC air conditioning and heaters to go out in it.
So are you going to install like a window unit or the one that's actually on casters?
I've got one that's already on casters.
Yeah. So
we had it for
I
our.
have the same thing. I've got the same thing. My issue is this house that I bought, it was built in the 80s. And out of all of the projects that I've fixed around the house, I guarantee you the builders had a lot of alcohol influence during the building process. Because a lot of the stuff we ran into was definitely half-tailed, if you catch my drift.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Jerry rigged in what we call in the electrical trade every once in a while is slap and go.
Slap and go, I've heard that term.
Yep, slap it on and go real quick before anyone notices that you did it.
And I mean, they missed a lot of steps. Like, take my garage door, for example. The railings or the track, it hangs from the ceiling, and typically they put in a 45-degree brace to keep it stable, right? This one did not have it, and one day that the garage door was coming down, it actually came out of the track. And so, of course, I had to get the garage door people out here to fix it, and they had to put braces on all of the panels, all 4 panels, because it was so warped. It just where the thing would not even pull the garage door up over the curve on the track because it was so warped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Wicked Insanity has popped in, so welcome, Wicked.
Hey, Wicked. Actually, so Wicked's got a layout going that one of these days, Mike, you've got to get us a video. He's doing the Woodland Scenics Scenic Ridge N-scale layout. He's got the kit.
Oh, cool.
And he was working on it. I think his girlfriend got it for him for, I think it was Christmas or something. I remember him talking about it on another channel one time.
Huh. So Steve Childers said, we always call it Arkansas Baling Wire Special. Now I know where that came from. And then, of course, Joe Rader says Southern Engineering. I've heard that many times, too.
Yeah, I've heard Southern Engineering. Redneck Engineering.
Yeah, redneck. We've got that term here as well.
Yeah. Well, I also found out that, redneck is not a Southern United States term because you could be a redneck and be from Illinois.
Yep. Here we've got 2 definitions. You've got what's called redneck, and then you've got what's called country. You country. And the difference between it is not what you do, it's like your way of life. So I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain it without being very stereotypical. And I really don't want to get into that, but I've got family who are considered country, and yes. I've got family who's considered redneck. So,
yeah, I've got one of my cousins up in Illinois. I call him my redneck cousin, and he goes, "No, I'm not a redneck." And I was like, "Actually, by definition of redneck, you are a redneck because directions to your house include turning off the paved road." He's got a gravel driveway, or there's a gravel part of the road that goes through a cornfield. And he has to warn friends coming out to look for the red flags at the tree line because it means the farmer is plowing the field in his columbine and cannot see the road. And the cars have to watch for him.
Yeah.
Because those things do not stop on a dime.
Oh, no. No, not at all. Oh, it even got on the barn. I just saw that. I put the barn up there and it got on there too. Dadgummit, Heath. I swear, man. You just can't live well enough alone. Good thing Nick makes these as vinyl as well. So.
Oh, and Jason, something else I found that works real nice. The polyfiber makes great Spanish moss.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Actually, I'm about to pull some off and do it on one real quick. I've got one. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. This was my test tree that I kind of threw a bunch of different things on it to see how how it looked. But if it'll focus.
Okay, that moss reminds me of like southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, northern Florida, southern Georgia, like down close to the Gulf.
Yeah.
See, we don't have any of that around here.
Actually, you talking about the moss that I've got on the top here? If it'll focus.
No, on the bottom. The stuff that hangs on the bottom.
Oh, this right here, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it still look like Spanish moss.
Yeah.
Typically the only place I know of that I find it around me is in Charleston, South Carolina. And it is the out of the way areas where there's not cars. The Spanish moss is very, very temperamental to any kind of pollutants in the air. Will kill it in a heartbeat.
Gotcha.
Louisiana, you find it a lot in the bayous or even New Orleans, where there's not many, where the cars don't drive much.
Right.
There's one tree.
Probably more like around Thibodeau and Oma.
Yeah.
Probably that direction.
There's a tree in Battery Park, which is in Charleston, where the cars can't drive down there anymore. They've cut the road off.
Okay.
That the trees are just slam full of Spanish moss now.
Really?
And they're beautiful.
Oh, I bet. Hey, Almar popped in, and Fred Wild, I don't know if I said hi to you, so Fred Wild's here too.
Cool.
So we got 29 people in the chat, so seems like we're somewhat entertaining.
I know one hiding in the background.
I know I'm not a Rick Bailey and dressing up like a Christmas tree, so. But looks like Marky Saunders pops in as well. Jacksonville, Florida has more than enough for anyone to get their fill of. So I'm assuming he's talking about that Spanish moss that you were talking about as well. So all I'm doing right now is I'm mixing my paint. Just trying to get it good and mixed. Because I use this enamel. I mean, it's oil-based, not water-based. So I guess that's enamel, right? So I know people that was watching Heath's Monday live stream when I was painting the base. I mean, this is literally this is what I'm using, a big old bucket of paint. Oh, no, it is acrylic. Okay, so it's acrylic latex. But I know I have to mix the mess out of it. And so I am going to set that off to the side. And we are going to have fun painting.
So it's an acrylic latex, huh?
Yeah.
That's
what it said. Now, if you was to ask me what color this is, don't get me lime because I bought this jug years ago. And Craig actually had it special ordered for me. So he knows what his color code is. I do not. And he got it from like a local hardware store. So not from, I mean, it's like a mom and pop hardware store because where his hobby shop is in a very, very small town. So, and speaking of, I think you were talking about the N-scale Chicago Northwestern cars. He had 2 or 3 stock cars, but they all had the Rapido couplers.
Yeah, see, I've got 2 right now that I need to get new trucks for. One of them is Lifelike, and wrong drawer. It's actually the one's a stock car.
Okay.
That's Lifelike, and it's got those couplers on it. The old
that's Rapido. That's Rapido.
Yeah, these both have Rapido on it. And then I've got it's a grain car that's Chicago Northwestern. I found them, what was it? 2 years ago now at a train show over in Gastonia right near me.
Okay.
There's actually next Saturday, there's one in Hickory, North Carolina on Friday the 9th and Saturday, April 10th. That I'm trying to talk my wife into letting me go to.
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 children with chronic illness, so she's been vaccinated. I'm working on getting mine, and it looks like I probably won't be able to get it until the 18th of May.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I'm a frontline construction worker.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm doing a college, community college library right now, and I was in one of the highest hit counties in North Carolina.
Okay.
And missed no work, knock on wood, for the showstopper. Although we had 4, last year we had 4 confirmed cases on site between February and Christmas.
Oh wow.
Yeah. One of them was actually the job superintendent and his son.
That's hilarious.
Wait a minute, what was that? Heath? Well, wait a minute, where was that?
He went O scale. He skipped HO. He just went O, and he's talking about building G as well. I mean,
yeah.
Like, I don't even know where to start with Heath.
Heath jumped into the train hobby, and it's like, oh, we have all this stuff. It's like, yes, please. It's like, grab a little bit of everything.
Especially if it's a GG1.
Oh, that's something else I've looked at. Is I've been looking at a couple of GG1s. I was just like, yeah, I so want to do that, but I was like, I can't justify it on my layout. It's like there's the Southern J class, the daylighter. I so want it. I've seen the actual 611 here in North Carolina at the Transportation Museum. They were doing some work on it, and I was like, I looked at my wife and I was like, I so want to walk across the street, because the train store that I deal with has one sitting in the shelf right now, and I saw it, and I was like, but I don't have a layout. I can't do it. But it's like, but I want it. And two of the stores I deal with online have it also, and I'm just like,
oh man,
because
it's with like a cab Ford or the SP 4449.
Yeah.
Because I run Southern Pacific, as well as Cotton Belt. And a buddy of mine ended up getting a cab Ford. Man, I got so jealous. I was like, dude, you don't know how bad I want one of those for my layout.
I'm jealous of Jack and his steam shay that he has.
Yes.
If I was doing HO, oh my God, that would be a beautiful thing. Because I would love a 2-truck shay. So what caught my eye in locomotives, now I know a lot of guys here on the community are going to blast me for this, but Steve Brown of It's My Railroad, one shay that he has that he did with the logging camp, I was just like, oh my gosh. I would so love to do something like that.
And that's what I want for the sawmill.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the sawmills from where in Arkansas, like Pine Bluff, it set literally on the edge of the Mississippi Delta, and then what we call the Gulf Coastal Plain, which is all woodlands. So on the west side of Pine Bluff, where I grew up off the Cotton Belt, you had a whole bunch of these short lines, or like what they call locals. Like they weren't even really short lines. They were just locals that all they did was take pulpwood cars, log it, and then send it, to the railroad tracks for the main railroads to pick up, on their way through and back. Like they didn't even transport to any yard or anything.
Right.
It was literally just a siding. And they were all done with shays, 4 trucks, and some had 6.
Yeah. Train Fan 102 was saying, Jason, what type of cab Ford are you looking for? Because Train World evidently still has a few still in stock.
I'm looking for one that has sound already in it, because I really don't want to put sound in it. And then one that also smokes, that has synchronized chuff. So,
oh, that's right. You're running HO. I was about to say, how are you getting an N scale to smoke?
No, yeah, I'm running
besides
HO.
Overheating the motor.
Not that type of smoke.
Yeah, we won't discuss that kind of smoke, because I had about a 30-year-old Mini Trix DC. One of the motor wires melted on it, and in the process of taking it apart, I realized the aluminum chassis was cracked down the middle.
Oh,
where the screws hold it together.
that's not good.
No, it was if I remember correctly, it was a 210-2. I actually got a replacement from Shannon Tapia, because Shannon Tapia knew exactly what locomotive I was talking about when I said it. He goes, I've seen it before. He goes, William, I've got one on eBay. I was like, pull it off of eBay. Tell me what you want for it right here, right now. And I will PayPal you the money tonight. And it's actually on my layout. It's a Bachmann. Oh, no, it's actually packed up. Oh, never mind. I packed it away. It used to be on my layout. But I forgot I packed all my rail cars are packed up in a box, because the more I stand and look at my layout, the more I'm like, I want to rebuild it. And then I'm like, but I can't rebuild it because I'm getting the shed, and I'm just going to be tearing it down and moving it in a couple months. So I was like,
So let me ask you, since you're getting the shed, are you doing a multi-level or a single level?
I'm starting with a single level right now. But it won't be hard to do a multi-level deck out of it. Mostly what I'm going to be doing is I've got the shed's going to be 12 foot wide by 16 foot deep. I've got about 12 foot to play with along the 16-foot wall.
Okay.
So I'm doing a 2 foot shelf layout, and then I plan on doing my gaming table for my tabletop gaming that I'll also have the train running on, and that's going to be 4 foot by 8 foot. So I've got like a 2 foot walkway on either side of the table with the way the layout is. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do the turnaround to go back, but it's going to be continuous loop. And then at some point I'll probably put in a helix and a second shelf at 18 inches over the first one.
Gotcha. Well, I will tell you this. With me building, this is my first multi-deck that I built. You know, they always tell you to do work from the ground up.
Yeah.
That's not the case. Because, I mean, think about it. You know, I've got my yard on the bottom level, which looks like a mess right now, and I've got to do some work on it. But in order for me to climb up under deck number 2 and install all these tortoise switches and stuff, is not going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that I'm not scenicking that part of the layout. I can scenic this part here because what's going above it is a helix. So I'm not concerned about trying to get up under.
Right.
So
well,
if you do plan on doing a multi-level, start at the top. And then when you get ready to, like, if you make a helix or whatever type of elevation, then do the bottom and work your way up to the top, like on whatever type of grade you're working on. But if you're doing a multi-deck, definitely do the top one first.
Well, the other thing is I'm doing it modular. So actually I'll have it down. I'm doing it in 2x4, 2 foot by 4 foot plates. So as I finish each one, I'll put it up on the shelf and then connect the track together. It's going to be almost T-track, N-track style layout.
Okay.
And that was because a lot of the terrain features I'm doing, like I said, I do tabletop gaming also, and I'll use each of those rail lines in tabletop gaming because all the terrain is going to be all modular as one piece. I can lay them the 4 foot length on a table, put the 2 foot sides together, or the 4 foot sides together, make a long table, and all the terrain is going to interact with each other. It'll be all modular.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something I've done in the past. I did a table probably 25 years ago. I did a layout table for tabletop gaming that was actually, it was a 4 foot by 8 foot table, but it was actually 4 2x4 half-inch MDF boards with pink SPF foam and plaster cloth and everything else on it.
Okay.
But it's very, very similar to what I'm going to be doing for this one. For the train, I've kind of gone both ways on my layout designs itself. I've gone through 3 different versions of how I wanted to do it, just kind of testing what I'm capable of doing, and it's been a fun journey. Because
you can't really tell there's any mason out there.
Nope. Now, if you put that's okay. You ran the paint over it, and then you did your plaster underneath.
Well, what I did was I plastered the edges first, and then Tom, I'm not going to wait for that first coat of paint to dry. You should know me better than that, Tom.
Actually, Tom, if he wants to speed it up, all he's got to do is steal his wife's hair dryer, put it on low heat, and just blow dry it.
Yeah. No, this paint here actually dries pretty quick. Now, of course, I'm not painting up here. I'm more focusing back there.
Yeah.
Because I do want to get the stock pins put back in and get that started painting as well. But yeah, I think this looks real good so far. And I mean, I can put this down with it being wet. It's fine. I just need to make sure I get it down in the exact right spot I want it. There we go.
Yeah, I was seeing where Fred Wild was talking about he's looking at rebuilding his helix with his new layout. He said he thinks the overall size of the layout can affect how much one likes a helix. And I was like, yeah, that's...
the way that my garage is laid out, I'm not a fan. The reason why I've got my layout doesn't go all the way around the room because 1, we still use it for a major walkway, but 2, like where my dispatcher's area is at, I couldn't make it the way I wanted to because that's where our attic access is. I used to have a rectangular shaped layout here, but I had to put the whole middle section on casters. So that way, if I needed up in the attic, I'd have to take the layout apart in sections and then, go get what I need up there or whatnot, and our AC unit's up there too. So to get that serviced, it just got to be too much of a hassle. And I said, to heck with it. And I also got tired of having to climb under to get in the middle. So I said, you know what, the next one I build is going to be a U shape. I'm going to go multi-level so that way I can do some long runs and do that. Heath, no, I still have not. I mean, the wires ran. I just doesn't have it ran it down the wall. The wire's coiled up in the attic. So, no, I'm actually working on my Wi-Fi, and I guess it's working pretty well. I don't know. That is exactly
so
right.
true, Roy. I was just reading that. I was about to say, yes, trains go in helixes and disappear. Helixes are the Bermuda Triangle of the model train world.
Yes. And I swear Roy's video is absolutely the best when it comes to talk about helixes.
Oh, the one where it goes in and then he says 3 days later it comes out?
Yeah. Or 3 weeks later or 3 years or something.
Yeah. I think it was 3 days later it comes out at I can't even think of what part of the layout he was talking about because he does Colorado. It was some point in Colorado. It comes out 3 days later, and it's like,
Well, it's Wyoming. It's up in Wyoming.
Oh, is it Wyoming? Okay.
Yeah. And then his other one, he instead of a circular helix, he designed it more as an oval, and that's where Echo Canyon comes out at the top, over by on the back side of Evanston and close to Pocatello.
Okay.
So, which I think that's pretty cool how he did it that way because it actually simulates Echo Canyon. So
yeah. And then I think Sparky added what, I want to say 2 foot to his helix. He added 2 straight sections on it with his new helix that he's building.
Yeah, I've looked into it a little bit. Mine is trying to remember 29. I think it's 29 and a half inches radius.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah. Now, you're HO, right?
But I'm HO, and I'm only running single. I was originally doing a double, and I was having issues on the inner track with my long passenger cars and like the 86-foot box cars. They kept clipping the uprights, so I said the heck with it.
Yeah. See, that's what happened with me. I've got to get longer couplers for my micro trains, 83-foot Pullmans that I have, because I can run 2 of them together on a 15 inch radius curve, and they're fine. I put the 3rd and 4th car on it, and it'll derail every one of them.
Oh,
but
wow.
every other car in my whole lineup will go through my current layout perfectly fine, except for my Pullmans. And that was the whole point behind my layout, was rail fanning and doing passenger service through the countryside. I still would love to find, because it's nostalgic to me, even though I know it's a narrow gauge, the Tweetsie Railroad is only like 3.5 hours from me. And I was looking to see what kind of locomotive it was that they were using. And I was like, oh, I could probably find that. I've looked for 3 weeks now. I haven't found a single one of them out.
What type of locomotive is it?
I want to say it's a 482 Baldwin. I'd have to look it up again. I honestly don't remember now, because I quit looking after about 2 days of searching through everyone. Well, trying to find an N scale is the thing. I think I saw it in the HO. But one of them, there was one steam locomotive I was looking for, and I think it was a 262 or 264 wheel configuration I was looking for that I know ran the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy, and then again the Chicago Northwestern in the early 1900s, and that 1790 or 1890 to like 1930s, 1940s. And I always thought about getting one, because there's one 4-foot section of the layout is going to be modeled after downtown Elmhurst, Illinois.
Okay.
That's where I grew up. And Chicago Northwestern Geneva subdivision comes right through there, and that's the passenger line, or the metro line, uses the old Chicago Northwestern lines. Actually,
Gotcha.
Steve Childers knows exactly what I'm talking about, because
Oh yeah, if anything
what he
Burlington,
models.
that's Steve Childers.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right, so now I've got to get this adjusted where I want it.
I watched you make that stockyard, and I was so looking at it going, I love the way it turned out. Because I watched you building it, and I was like, man, that thing looks like it's going to be a fun model.
Nightmare?
No, it looked like it was going to be fun, and doing the kit bashing on it, that was the nightmare.
No, that actually was not the bad part. The kit bashing, I promise you, that was not the nightmare. The nightmare was trying to figure out the diagram, because this is the only Walters kit I have ever bought that did not come with instructions. The only one. I mean, I've got this. I've got Rossland. I've got, the Shack-A-Sit Furniture Company behind me.
Uh-huh.
I've got a 6-bay roundhouse. So that's 2 kits of the 3-bay modern roundhouse. The machine shop. And then I've got kits that were from on my old layout. One was the passenger car wash station. I had that. God, I'm trying to think what was some of the other kits I bought.
Yeah.
And, some of the houses. I've got several different houses, several different of the city buildings. And I'm telling you, this is the first and only kit. I probably put 30 of these, 30 Walters kits together easily between doing this since 2009. This is the first one I've come across that had no instructions.
Yeah.
So
now, see, that's the funny thing. In all my years of doing terrain, and that I never got into buildings, I have one building to my name for my layout.
Yeah.
And it's I can't get it to stand up now. All right, fine. It's the Diamond Coal Company.
Okay.
That's the one and only N-scale kit I've ever done. It was a whole lot of fun, but I need to buy another one.
Gotcha.
I put it together by the way the instructions were, forgetting I told myself, don't glue the roofs on because you want to light it, dummy. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I glued the roofs down with plastic glue.
Oh, no.
So I have no way to get the lighting into it now where I want to put the lighting in.
Well, that's
wait a minute. I know who to blame on that. Thanks, Heath.
Well, Heath, I swear, man, he inspires a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the stock pins back on the layout.
Yes, Heath.
Second coat of wet paint to help adhere it.
Jason, Heath just said, did the train freak just take 2 hours to add some plaster and put on 1 coat of paint? And people give me a hard time.
I sure did. But you know what? I'm working a much bigger area than your desk. So
yeah, I was about to say we're not working in N scale here, Heath. Or actually, that was Z scale he was doing, wasn't it?
I mean, it took him 2 hours to mask a HO scale building.
Yeah, I did not get to see that video yet. I still need to take a look at that video.
It took him.
I've been slack.
Well, hold on. Let's see. What did it take him? 2 hours to build a HO scale car kit. Was that Friday? And here I got plaster down. I've got paint down, which the plaster had to dry. The paint had to dry. I mean, if we really want to be real, it's taken me several weeks on this. But I mean, you can't rush it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably been. I think it was a month ago that you did the. You were doing the live stream doing the kit. It was like the first 2 hours you doing the stockyard.
Yeah, just building it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was quite a month ago, but I know it was. I started when Sparky decided that he was done on Wednesday. So I filled in that first Wednesday, and that's when I started on it.
Okay.
So I think that's been maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, unfortunately, my weeks have been running together because of work.
I know the feeling.
I've been doing the same thing for the last 2.5 weeks, so I can't. My brain just can't comprehend one day to the next.
No, trust me, I get it.
Yeah, I'm a commercial electrician, and I'm about the last 3 weeks now. I've been doing poke through floor boxes. I'm so ready to be done with these things.
I tell you, the floor boxes where I work at, which I work at a library as well. I do IT.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Oh.
I hate them with a passion.
Yes, these are the wire mold. What is it? Not wire mold brand. It's Legrand.
I don't even remember what brand this one is. But all the plugins are not straight down. You have to dig your hand in there, and they're off to the side.
Yeah,
Electrical,
I know it's
and data. I hate these things.
Mm-hmm. You've got one of the older ones that have. It's almost like a stack. They leave the center area open, but everything's on like a 45-degree angle, beveled toward the center.
It literally has 6 sides. 6 sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me tell you, when I say I hate them with a passion, I hate them with a passion.
Yeah. Thanks,
Which
Heath.
I know we're not talking about model railroading, but still.
Yeah. Well, actually, it could be, because it depends on if you want to put a floor box in your floor for wiring your layout.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that. So.
Yeah, but they got better ones for residential than commercial. You don't want to mess with the commercial ones. They're about 12 to 18 inches long. They're designed to sit in the floor and hang onto the floor underneath.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is where I work at. Yeah, I work for a public library system, so.
I was sitting here looking at the chat. Heath was talking about Legrand owns wire mold now, which I didn't realize. And then Fred Wild comes back with, I thought Disney owned everything.
Fred, I thought the same thing too.
Yeah. I was about to say, Disney has everything else under the sun.
Yeah. All right, so this is going to be a first for me. We're going to see what happens when I use this stuff. I've never used it before.
What is it? Sawdust or play sand?
It looks like really fine sawdust, but it's supposed to mimic like dirt. Well, to be honest, I really don't know what this stuff is. And I've got a darker shade too to kind of represent like areas where the cattle has messed, I guess you would say. All right, I'm going to slide this over to the last pin because I just painted it. So I'm just going to pour that in there. It kind of has a sawdusty type texture. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question or not.
I couldn't tell. I didn't know if it was like the Woodland Scenics fine talus or because I've been known to substitute so many things for other things over the years and doing tabletop stuff.
Yeah, man, I honestly do not know. I'm just trying to shake a little at a time, trying to be sparingly.
Yeah, you want to do a thin layer and then drop your alcohol and PVA mix.
Well, let's see here. I'm going to pull up the camera and let you see what it looks like on the inside. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Flying Crow popped on in. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
So, well, I know I've gone over my 2-hour mark, but ain't nobody signed up for the next hour, so we can technically go as long as we want to. And I'm sure Barnabas wouldn't care, so...
Yeah, who's going on next, you said?
Next, it is 2 o'clock in the morning our time, I think. Let me pull it back up because he hasn't seen anybody. Okay, yeah. 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern, and that is King's Cross Interchange Model Railway, which is Milo Tagney Knowles. And I thought I saw Milo pop in here earlier, and then he said something he was going to come back on with his other YouTube channel name, and I haven't seen him since. Not to say that he's not here, because he could be. We got Reese C here, so welcome, Reese.
Oh, and Jason, I meant to tell you, the Dragon Lover 68 was as a friend of mine from here in Charlotte. I got her involved in model trains. She does miniatures and that, and I was like, well, if you want to look at ideas for bases and that, I go check out the train community and see what they're doing on terrain for their trains to get ideas. So she's joined the community now here and there on and off. So you'll see her around a lot.
And we also got Jeff. I'm going to go Reedman. It could be Reedman, Jumbo Lane Model Railway. So, Jeff, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name on that one. And Randall, no, I did not. But yesterday when I went to the hobby shop, I did see an old Santa Fe wood chip hopper go by, and I did get a video and a picture of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't see those very often. Now,
yeah.
It's the reporting marks, it looks like it's been bought by a private company, but it still said Santa Fe on the side. I mean, it looked like it was in bad shape.
It's like, I can't remember, was it Midwest Model Railroad just did an update. They've got a type of snowplow out right now, and they've got the Union Pacific. It's the one that oh, crap. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Or a wedge?
No, it's the wedge.
Okay.
They got the wedge one out, and they've got a UP one for it. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I was like, I don't know what I would ever use it on my layout for, but it's one of those. It's a push in front. I don't think it's powered.
No, they're not. The Arkansas Railroad Museum actually has one that you can go in. It does have a gas motor in it, but it's for the hydraulics to push the sides out. But no, it's not motor at all. I mean, it has to be pushed by locomotives.
Well, no, I was saying the HO model was also not. There was no motor to it. It was a push in front of the locomotive.
I've had one. It was a Southern Pacific years ago, and it was a Walters, and it was the same way. I mean, and what was unprototypical about it is it didn't have a coupler for the front in the wedge, so you could only put a coupler on the back. The one at the museum actually has a coupler in the wedge.
Oh, wow. I think this may have... I want to say this one had a coupler on the front. At the front of the wedge. But it also had the nose light. And I was looking at it. I can't remember who put it out now.
Should be above the wedge.
Yeah.
And there is a cabin where people can actually ride in it and be up above the wedge.
Yeah.
When the museum opens back up, I plan on going down there and doing a live stream because they've got cabooses, passenger cars, locomotives. They got that snowplow, steam locomotives that you can actually go up inside and take a look.
Oh, nice.
And then, of course, they've got like some maintenance away equipment on the outside, like the, Bucyrus crane, like I have a model of.
Yeah. Yeah, now I know the North Carolina Transportation Museum in East Spencer has a caboose that was converted into a maintenance away bunkhouse.
Okay.
It's actually you can actually go up and go in it, and I was like, wow, these things are really small. It's like, I always thought these things were so huge, but then again, I looked back and I was like, when I saw a caboose, I was
little.
10. I was definitely under 15 years old. Going up to Illinois and visit with my cousins. So, I was like, there was.
Did you get a chance to watch Roy's video on his UP caboose?
No, I had not. I saw it come up, and I'd been so busy messing around with some stuff and unpacking and packing different things around here that I hadn't even thought about it. I'll probably end up watching it tonight before bed.
Yeah, I like how Roy gave a lot of the history with it. Because he was not just talking about, the caboose I got him, but, the history to go with it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's one of the things I love about model railroading is the history.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what I love about the area of Chicago, with Chicago Northwestern, and Union Pacific, buying them. But then again, we also have, I think it's Burlington Northern, because I used to sit at the railroad lines and watch the commuter trains come in. Then I would watch also, because there's 3 lines. You have the north and south passenger lines, and then you've got a third line that runs through Elmhurst. It's all the freight, so they don't have to divert the train cars or the commuter cars and passenger cars off the line as they're going. Okay. Heath's saying the next stream in the MRYCG stream is live now, and he's got the link in the.
Wow, I didn't know there was one that popped up live. Let me see. Did Jason message me? No, Jason didn't send me an update.
Yep.
Next one wasn't supposed to go on till 2 a.m. All right. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm probably still going to work on this, but let me go ahead and show you. I've got 2 pins done. Started working on the third one, which is bigger. And I feel like, yep, I hit my light bulb. And I still got to do that one too. And then after I get these done, then I will come back and paint the fencing, which is going to take me a lot of time, and it's going to be very tedious. So looks like Mystic Southern Railway popped in as well. So hello, Mystic, John. So anyways, well, William, I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me on live.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And I appreciate all of you in the chat for just, being there, leaving your comments. And if I missed anybody, I sincerely apologize. And for those who do not know what the MRYCG is, it's the Model Railroad YouTube community group. It is a group of the community, and we do for the community. So if you want to be a part of it, I highly recommend it. It doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't matter where you live. So as long as you are involved in model railroading on YouTube, I mean, it's up your alley, whether you model or even if you watch. So I highly recommend get a part of it. So, and Mystic John says, I need more cowbell. Well, if I had the layout on for you, you would have been hearing all the cows you want, because that's my cow one right there.
Yep.
And the goats.
Yeah, evidently, Jason, it was it's King's Cross Interchange and Model Railway. He's got the link in the chat for us.
Yeah, King's Cross is not supposed to come on until 2 a.m. our time. 2 a.m. Eastern. Yeah. So, Heath, do you want to confirm to see if he is on now?
He's already gone over. He is on right now. I just jumped over there. Yeah.
Okay, so he might have decided to go on earlier. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
either that or it's 2. Let's see. It's 9:00 our time. Where's my phone? Because I've got London's time on my world clock.
I can pull this list up.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. London time. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. England time. That's what he's doing. He's doing 2 a.m. England, so it's 7:00 our time.
Got it. All right. Well, then we're going to go ahead and sign off, and we're going to go over there. So I appreciate y'all joining me. And here is the times for the future shows over the next 20 hours. So thank y'all for being a part of it, and y'all take care and happy railroading.